Hey everyone, this is Oscar from Underdog, and today let's talk about ASMR and specifically why understanding ASMR is going to turn you into a better producer. Now, you may or may not be familiar with ASMR as being this audio art form where people come up really close to the camera and they touch the camera like this and they scrape it and they tap it, and you can hear all the minuscule details of the sound. A lot of people report that they get goosebumps from this, and so it evokes a kind of a really physical response in people. But why is that relevant to us as music producers? Well, in reality, there's a valuable lesson that we can learn from ASMR with regards to frequencies, and specifically with regards to the absolute lowest frequencies, the absolute highest frequencies, and then the mid-range frequencies. You see, when you're shaping a sound, you are choosing where you're going to position that sound emotionally and in terms of space compared to the listener. And there's a possibility for you to make a sound like it is super close, right next to the listener's ears, or far away and really loud shouting at the listener. So if you understand the features of ASMR, you can then shape your sound to use the benefits from it. Does that make any sense? Let's take for a moment this example of the audio coming to you right now. The microphone is really, really, really up close to my mouth, and so you should be hearing all the tiny little details of my voice. And whenever I do some low notes, you should be getting quite a lot of bass or proximity effect from this microphone. So the very low frequencies, the lowest frequencies of the frequency spectrum, and the highest, the fresh top high end in these little sounds, they're coming to you in ultra high definition. And that, in reality, in the real world, only happens to you when the sound is really close to your ear, when someone is intimately in your ear. That's the only moment in which you're going to hear these low frequencies and the crispest of the high frequencies.
And this is the opposite of ASMR. This is me screaming at you from a distance, so it's the opposite of the intimacy that ASMR will give you. But so what is happening now is that you're hearing the mid frequencies of my voice. You're not hearing a lot of bass traveling to the microphone, and the ultra high frequencies in my voice are being rolled off through friction in the air. So focusing on the mid frequencies in your audio signal is going to communicate loudness. It's going to communicate high effort and low intimacy. And that's in direct contrast
to this, where all the bass from my voice is coming to you, and I'm even mixing it in a way that amplifies it. And there's almost no distance between my mouth and the microphone, so the air doesn't have a lot of time to absorb the ultra high frequencies. So what does that mean for us as music producers? Well, let's think of an EQ curve that is often referred to as a smiley curve EQ. That means basically a low shelf and a high shelf that brings up the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs. This is going to subjectively make the sound feel more present, more close, more impressive. So imagine a dub techno track where you have very low lows and very high highs and quite a sparse mid-range in the middle. That's going to have the features and the kind of intimacy of an ASMR experience, and that's a stylistic choice that you can make. On the other end of the spectrum, you have, for example, the way a punk record is mixed, where there's explosive drums and explosive guitars all in the mid-range, but not a lot of delicate high crispness and not a lot of low fullness, warmth in the subs. That's more mid-rangey and that's more screaming. It's more in your face and aggressive. So when we talk about punch and impact and loudness, there's different ways in which you can achieve that. There is that kind of physical fullness, or there's that kind of mid-range loudness. It helps to get it clear in your mind which one you're kind of going for. Because even within techno, for example, it is possible to have crisp, warm, round sounds, more like an ASMR experience, or more mid-rangey banging, more like a punk experience. Even singers have this stylistic spectrum. If you compare how Billie Eilish sings, which is very in here, down intimate, so ASMR style. There was a good Chili Gonzalez analysis video which suggested that. And then think of like a Mariah Carey or someone who like belts out and tries to project their voice out into the room very strongly. If you want to get up in that intimate ASMR Billie Eilish vocal, you're going to mix things with a lot more ultra lows and ultra highs, and vice versa. If you want to get that Mariah Carey sense of loudness and power and impact, you're going to focus on that upper mid-range. So I just want you to take this little stylistic thought, take it away with you, and think a little bit in your most recent compositions. Which end of this spectrum are you going for? There's no right or wrong, but just maybe it's worth asking yourself that question stylistically. Are you going for the ASMR or are you going for the punk? If questions like this are a little bit too nuanced for you just now, go follow my Foundations of Electronic Music course. There I take you from absolute beginner through to intermediate level producer. Come show us on the Discord channel what you did with this. And until next time, stay producing, be good to one another, and take care. Bye-bye. The Underdog ASMR Experience Extravaganza.